still there is a feeling that this war is going to last for some more, that it's not going to end tomorrow. So maybe at the initial stage of the war, some Ukrainians hope that it will be over soon. But now I think that it is sinking in, this feeling and the realization that this war will go on for weeks and probably months more. We have to be prepared for a long fight, but eventually Ukraine will prevail. I think this is also a feeling shared by the majority of the people here.
Explosions have been heard near Kyiv this morning. Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of Kyiv, says rescuers and paramedics are at the scene of the blasts to the south of the city. He's warned residents who have fled the capital not to return. Moscow's also formally warned of unpredictable consequences if the US and allies keep supplying weapons to Ukraine. Joining me now with the latest updates from Ukraine is Olga Tokariuk, a Kyiv-based journalist and fellow at the Centre for European Policy Analysis. Good morning to you, Olga.
Good morning.
So what can you tell us about the explosions heard near Kyiv this morning?
Yes, we have the information coming from the mayor of Kyiv, Klitschko, that Darnitsky district in Kyiv, this is a densely populated area in the southeastern part of the city, was hit by Russian missiles. We don't know yet what object was hit and whether there are any casualties, but the mayor also called on the people who are in Kyiv, and many of Kyiv residents have been returning to the capital in the last days and weeks following the withdrawal of Russian troops from Kyiv region. So he called on people who returned and on those people who never left Kyiv to do not ignore the sirens, the air raid alerts, to go to the shelters when they hear the siren. And he also said that those residents who left Kyiv, including me, I'm not in Kyiv at the moment, I'm in Western Ukraine, not to return, to wait for some more, because he said it's not safe yet.
So this is unexpected, given the withdrawal of Russian troops. Is there a sense that anything is possible, especially after the sinking of the Moskva and the warnings that from Moscow of unpredictable consequences?
I wouldn't say that this is entirely unexpected, because, we've seen that anyway, like whatever Russia says, they said they will be concentrating on Donbass, but their actions do not confirm their statements. So even despite the statements that they will be focusing now on the eastern part of the country, on conducting an offensive there, the missile attacks and the bombing of the targets across all Ukrainian territory hasn't stopped. So in fact, this is not the first time in the recent days when Kyiv or Kyiv region was bombed. There were other strikes the day before in one of Kyiv's suburbs. So and also across other parts of Ukraine's territory, there were other missile attacks. Like just this night, in many central regions, eastern regions, southern regions of Ukraine were targeted, and also in the western Lviv region, the governor said that from the territory of Belarus, several missiles were fired in the direction of Lviv region, but they were intercepted by Ukrainian air defense. So it's, despite all Russians' claims that they will be concentrating on Donbass, it's too early to believe that other parts of Ukraine are safe. No part of Ukraine is safe at the moment anyway.
Today's Times reports that UK special forces have been in Kyiv to train local soldiers for the first time since the start of the war. How significant is that?
I think it is significant from the point of view that there is a support to Ukraine coming from its allies and partners, including the UK, and the fact that that support comes in different forms, weapons delivery, sanctions on Russia, but also help with, training Ukrainian military. I think it is remarkable. It is very appreciated, definitely, here in Ukraine. Ukrainians are doing the fighting on their own. They do not count that there will be troops on the ground, boots on the ground, soldiers coming from other countries, with the exception, of course, of volunteers who want to voluntarily join the Foreign Legion inside Ukraine's armed forces. But the fact that there is, the assistance provided also in the form of training is greatly appreciated. It's important.
President Volodymyr Zelensky said in interviews yesterday that the world should be prepared for the possibility that Russia would use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Are there concrete reasons for him saying this, or is this part of being prepared for anything, given Russia's warnings of unpredictable consequences?
Well, if you listen to Russian state TV, you will hear that they are threatening the use of nuclear weapons basically on every day, in the prime time talk show. So this is not something entirely new or unexpected. And I think, and also the Russian leadership, Russian officials have been mentioning that they might be willing to escalate to the nuclear level. So I think the fact that Ukraine's president mentioned that, of course, he probably has more intelligence than we have. Like the reason the open source, access, like he has intelligence that is not public. But I think it also reflects this fact that, Russian officials and Russian state media are talking about this constantly. They are threatening the use of nuclear, but I think it is a part also of an intimidation strategy. They are. I think Russians, they should be aware, and if they are not aware, they should be told so by the Western countries that if they escalate to nuclear level, there will be retaliation. It will not be, it will not go unanswered. So I think they are making also these statements in order to test the reaction, of the West. To how seriously the West takes that, whether it works as an intimidation tactic, and whether the West is prepared to respond harshly to this sort of threats.
And finally, Olga, I wanted to ask you about how Ukrainians are feeling at this point after the invasion. 6 weeks ago. We have 40 senior officers killed, Russian officers killed. We have the sinking of the Moskva. We have the withdrawal from around Kyiv. Is this a kind of high point, would you say, in terms of feeling confident that Ukraine can repel the Russian invasion? Or is there a sense that the worst may be yet to come now that the stakes are so high for Vladimir Putin?
Well, I think there is no doubt here in Ukraine, nobody doubts the fact that Russians are hell-bent on destroying Ukraine and on exterminating Ukrainians. They've basically made it clear with their statements, but also with their actions on the ground. They do not care about Ukrainian lives, about civilian lives, and that their goal is to kill or intimidate or terrorize or deport as many Ukrainians as they can in order to establish some sort of occupation administration on a big part of Ukraine's territory. And what they are doing, the crimes they are committing, they really look like they are having an intent to conduct a genocide of Ukrainian population. So that, of course, contributes to the spirit of resistance and resilience of Ukrainian people, because everybody understands that their life is in danger, whether you are fighting, you're a soldier, or you're a civilian, you're in danger, because Russians just want to kill you just for the fact that you're a Ukrainian. And while, of course, there have been some remarkable successes of the Ukrainian armed forces who managed to, kick Russians out from the northern part of the country, from Kyiv region, from Chernihiv region, Sumy region, Ukraine also managed to keep almost all regional centers, big cities under its control. Only Kherson in southern part of the country has fallen to Russians. But still, there is a feeling that this war is going to last for some more, that it's not going to end tomorrow. So maybe at the initial stage of the war, some Ukrainians hope that it will be over soon. But now I think that it is sinking in, this feeling and the realization that this war will go on for weeks and probably months more. We have to be prepared for a long fight, but eventually Ukraine will prevail. I think this is also a feeling shared by the majority of the people here.